Hello, Scarlett.
Hello, darling.
Oh, you look lovely.
Oh, thank you, darling. So do you.
Oh, thank you. I just said it so I get the compliment back. But you know what? Yeah. Welcome to the Drag Race Yearbook. How are you, Babs?
I am absolutely amazing, my darling. And I'm so happy to be here.
Good, because I've been waiting for this one. Oh, look at this. We've got ready to spill some tea today.
I'm ready to spill the tea, the coffee, everything. Everything.
Well, Scarlett, we want to find out what you really think about your fellow queens here on the Drag Race Yearbook. So as well as talking about your time on the show, we're going to ask you to nominate your fellow queens in our juicy yearbook category. Ooh.
Ooh, I'm like Mr. Burns.
Ooh, excellent.
Excellent. I'm ready.
The only rule is you can't nominate yourself. You got it?
You got it, lady.
Category is
Best Look.
My favourite look is probably got to be Kitty. And I would say that because, not only because I adore Kitty, but she did the similar thing to me where she went down the character route. Like she played that crazy lady with the teeth and the big long jumper, and it was amazing. And that's kind of the route that I went down because, you know, I dressed as Bianca from EastEnders.
Yeah, iconic.
And that is so me. And so the fact that I think me and Kitty have a similar like kind of drag kind of outlook. So the fact that she did that, I absolutely loved it.
Absolutely. Like if there was any challenge that Kitty was going to win, it was going to be the fugly.
The fugly ball. Oh, we're going to sip some tea now.
Yeah. Oh, quickly, can you give me a Bianca Ricky, please?
Ricky!
There we go.
And there's my audition reel.
I'll see you in EastEnders next year. Christmas special.
More like Holby City.
Oh yeah, definitely. Need ambulance after that.
Absolutely.
So it's a brand new challenge this week. I don't think it's ever been done before on Drag Race. Crazy already.
Yeah.
But 3 looks in one day under extreme time pressure. And obviously an appearance from the icon, Charity Shop Sue.
I know.
It must have been a crazy day. What was the day like?
You've seen me on TV at this point now, so you can agree with me to say that I can barely pull one look together, let alone 3. So that was such a struggle. And if the voice of RuPaul, from just his voice alone, doesn't put the fear of God and absolutely just completely rise your testicles up to your neck, hearing a tannoy of him in the workroom, it was just so... I can't think of a word for it. I remember just running around like a blue ass fly, being like, what am I doing?
I can imagine. It looked insane. And we only see like a fraction of the mayhem and shenanigans. Well, what do you think about the judges' critiques? Because the swimsuit and the fugly butt fashion looks went down really well, but they were like really just not feeling the charity shop look. I think got to the point where like nitpicking, do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like...
totally. And you know what, I kind of agree with him a little bit because, to be honest, if you would have seen some of that tat we had to pick from, I swear to God, it was between a sequin boob tube dress or like your grandma's knickers, you know what I mean? And Kitty already picked up your grandma's knickers, so I had no, I'm joking. So I had the sequin dress. And I had to make it work. That was the only thing I could find. Number one, that fit me, because I'm like tiny. Yeah. I just saw sequins and I thought, you can't go wrong. You know, Drag Race.
You can't go wrong with sequins.
Exactly.
Well, there was a little bit of drama on the runway when you compared Crystal to Anubis.
I didn't know we had Anubis back in the competition.
I kind of forwarded that bit because it made me cringe.
Yeah.
I remember saying that and I meant it in no harm, you know. It's just me,
absolutely,
blah, blah, blah.
yeah.
But like, I just cringe over things like that. So when I saw it, I knew it was coming. When I saw it, I just went, get off.
The joys of iPlayer, just
literally. I was like, quick, get off now. Yeah, I mean, it was just like, I was just trying to be steam camp and maybe it didn't land and I apologize. And Crystal knows that, but yeah.
You've had plenty more jokes that have landed, babes. Don't worry about it.
Do I? So, on the main stage, you notice they never land, which is ironic.
Category is
Biggest Drama Queens.
I've got to go for my sister Charity. And I love Charity so much. And the fact that she's the biggest drama queen is actually one thing I love the most about her because I just love the spirit she has. Like, she doesn't do anything in halves.
No.
Everything's like, this is happening right now, and like, this is it now. And I love that about her because it's like everything's a life and death moment. I think someone said that before, but it's true. Like, you know, you could have some breakfast on the table and it's like, whoa, no, it hasn't got this in it. You know what I mean? It's just like everything's like a telenovela, and I just used to love that about her.
Drama, high drama from Charity Case.
High camp, high
in
drama.
In drag, out of drag. Love to see it.
Absolutely. We love it.
Well, it was interesting that Rue asked for the best look of the night. And I was like, oh, okay, this is going very positive because the episode previous, the Drag Lexa, ooh, that did not go well. And I think it's fair to say you had a little bit of a wobble, just a little bit of a wobble.
I did. Drag Lex, can you delete that episode?
Were you dreading it coming out? Were you like, oh my gosh, this is coming? Yeah.
I stayed home. I didn't have a viewing party because I knew. The thing is that, you know, as much, I want to say this, as much as, you know, watching it from home it's all camp and it's TV and it's silly. You know, watching it for me, it's real life, and I can see how raw and vulnerable I feel in that moment. And it upsets me a little bit because I can see anger in myself in that moment because I feel so frustrated. But, you know, in reality, what I really wanted to do, which is why I walked away, which is I just wanted to I wanted to just burst into tears and just like run away.
Yeah.
But, you know, you're on Drag Race and you can't afford to do that. People are waiting. You think about it like this, you know, I'm not making excuses, but like I'd spoken about my mum, which is something I never spoke about ever before. And then I did it on TV, which is just wild. So I walked onto the main stage feeling a bit raw. And then when the fallout happened, it felt like my sanity was hanging on by a thread because I was just like, wow, what more can happen right now? So for the people out there that saw that and, you know, had not nice comments to say, I will say this, that I'm very self-aware, and I'd like to say that, you know, anything that people can say about my behavior is nothing that I don't already say about myself. Because the person that I see there is a person that was hurt and was putting on an act, because in reality, I felt like I was completely alone in the room. And I felt like if I wasn't my own cheerleader in that moment, who the hell was going to be?
Who was? Yeah. And that's perfectly understandable. And there are only a handful of people who know what their whole experience is like. I think people as, you know, watchers, viewers, we all like to think we know what's going on or what happens behind stage or after the cameras. It's a lot. It's hard. So I think you handled it the best you could. And you did that. And I'm proud of you, sis.
Thank you, baby.
Proud of you. Oh, stop
Thank you,
it.
Bab. All right, Bab.
You're right, Bab.
All right, Bab.
Category is
Class Clown.
The person that made me laugh the most is Kitty. And not for the reasons you think. Obviously, she's hilarious. But she's hilarious from the minute she wakes up in the morning to the minute she goes to bed at night. Like, we would literally, she'd keep us entertained. Like, we would have our own show every morning when we'd be eating breakfast before we go on set, because she would put on a show. I would say, like, oh, Kitty, have you ever seen Grease? She would recite every line from Grease, beginning to bloody end in the morning. And she wouldn't just recite the lines. She'd do the you know, dance moves and it was just like, she knew every ounce of, and it just, she would keep us entertained every morning, just giving us the stories and the quotes and all that. So I've got to say, Miguel Kitty.
The real Sandy and Danny right there.
Absolutely. And Rizzo.
Well, speaking of characters from films, we need to talk about your Snatch game. First of all, Rue had the audacity to make everyone change their characters, but it seemed to work for you really well, especially in the workroom.
Oh my God. God's honest truth is that I mentioned Macaulay Culkin in passing, thinking nothing of it. Right? When he latched onto that and he laughed so hard, the penny dropped where I thought, crap, I'm going to have to bloody do this now, aren't I? And I remember looking over at my clothes and I didn't prepare. Like, I had pages and pages of jokes ready for if I was going to do Danny Dyer, that I could just pluck them out of my head. Macaulay Culkin, I had nothing. So the fact that I did that scream, and people, you know, I know people are saying it's repetitive and blah, blah, blah. But honest to God, I promise you, I was clinging onto straws because I had nothing else to. I know what
worked. Well, it worked. That's Snatch. Do you know what I mean? You sort of have to improvise, but also have just a little bit bread to know, so it doesn't seem too forced. And I think you did a great job.
Thank you, babes. I literally pulled it out of it.
And you were meant to do Danny Dyer. I was speaking to Victoria, and she was going to do Danny Dyer. Now, did you speak about that in the workroom?
No,
did you have
never.
nothing?
I didn't know she was going to do Danny Dyer until after filming had wrapped. It would have been a clash of the Danny Dyer. Can you imagine? One Danny Dyer is enough in any room, let alone two.
Two Danny Dyers.
I am Danny Dyer, like persona. That's why I call myself the Danny Dyer of drag. So
can I get a little bit of Danny Dyer then? Just a little something.
All right, sweetheart. Well, is it right? He's got a bit of a lift. Is it right or is it wrong? Ball, drop it. That's from that show he does on BBC One. I remember watching that in the hotel while I was getting ready for the show. I was like watching it over and over again so I could imitate his lisp and stuff. But
I think I'm going to need a Danny Dyer, maybe on All Star.
Oh, fingers crossed, legs crossed. Oh wait, my legs are never crossed. You know what I'm talking about?
Category is
Shadiest Queen.
Crystal. And I love Crystal to bits, but I would say the Shadiest because of that moment we had when we walked back into the workroom out of drag, and I was talking to, I think it was River, and then she chimed in.
You kind of mentioned my character and that I talk over people, etc.
Okay, it wasn't that deep. She just felt like she's been spoken over and she just wanted to have a say. That was it.
Well, it is deep when everyone said my name. That's
yeah, but you're going from one thing to another. She was just saying, like...
And again, that I cringed over that conversation, but the thing I love about Crystal is that she doesn't mind speaking up when needs to be, you know what I mean? Yeah. And I love that. Like, I love it's TV, it's drama, it's, you know, conflama and all that. So
exactly.
That's
it's
what we
just
want.
telly.
Exactly. And, you know, it goes back to like what happened on episode 5. Even though, you know, watching it and going through it was really stressful and blah, blah, blah. It's TV and it's drama and it's drag race.
Absolutely.
You know, and that's what we want. That's what we want,
exactly. And speaking of TV, we need to talk about that lip sync. Okay. I think I'll say it may have been, or if not, one of the best lip sync battles of the season.
Oh, thank you.
Alicia was doing a live PA set with you.
I know.
Hyping you up.
She was about to grab the mic, push us off stage and go for it.
We were going to get a Mystique-like rendition, everything. Yeah. What was it like going up against Vanity? Because it was really funny to see when RuPaul like, oh, and it's time to da-da-da. And Vanity's face is like, let's go.
That was my, you know what, to be fair, and I completely agree with her because that was my face when I did Big Spender. If you remember, my face was like, you guys don't believe in me? Let's go, you know.
Let's go.
Because that was my defense mechanism at the time. I was thinking like, I need to fight my way out of this. So I don't blame her. Like, and also Scandalous is an absolute banger of a song.
Honestly, it really is. I want more of those on as lip syncs, to be fair.
More classic, like R&B songs.
R&B, bit of garage, a bit of something like that. Do you know what I mean?
Yes, I would love that. I would love it. And you know what? Even though I got evicted, or eliminated, sorry.
Evicted!
Come on, big brother.
We're live on Channel 4. Please do not swear.
Eliminated, not evicted, darling. Sorry, but even though Vanity beat me, the fact that I did that song and I was so happy with my exit and RuPaul saying, yes, I am, which I didn't know about because I walked off. So yeah, I was so happy.
That was amazing. I was like, here we go. This is great. Well, were there any moments that you wanted to sort of like correct the judges or just shout, shut up, you're wrong?
Let me think. I think episode 5, the adverts were, you know, they were bad. But at this point, I think adverts have been done so many times on Drag Race now that it's hard to come up with an original idea. Yeah. You have, you know, next to no time to put the thing together with your teammates. That it's almost impossible to get it right sometimes. And so I think that we just did the best we could. I don't know if we deserve to get shouted out.
Exactly. And like there's been talk online about like how quickly the show was filmed and that allowed little time to prepare the challenges. And I'm sure you're nodding like yeah, it really reflected on some of the challenges. But
this is the thing, even though it was done in one day, it was a great episode, I think.
Yeah,
it was really fun. And I think that people have reacted well to the fact of seeing something. And it's nice. It's nice to see that Drag Race is still able to switch the formula up and make it fun.
Yeah.
I think there are upsides and downsides. I think obviously the downsides are the, stress. I'm not envious at all. Like I was saying earlier, I was like, I know what it's like to get into like quick drag, but this is quick drag on Drag Race while you're also being filmed, and then you've also got to talk about, your life problems. Like, why are you trying to get ready? That was so by the way,
funny.
my mum's got COPD and like, you know what I mean?
What's it like to be bullied? Oh my gosh, wow.
If you can't laugh about it, you cry about it. You know what I mean?
Literally.
Category is
Miscongeniality.
Miscongeniality. Teresa, obviously.
Oh.
It's just such a sweetheart. Like, even after, with the couple of episodes, they've been a bit rough for me, as I'm sure you've seen. And the fact that not just Teresa, but because I voted her as this category, she is so sweet. And she's the person you see on TV. Genuine, lovely. Yeah. She sends me texts all the time to check in on me and stuff. And because she knows it's been tough, and I've been getting a couple of negative comments online and stuff. And she's just been there for me just to help me get through it. Because, I'm not going to lie, it's tough, because I've got my mum's illness and stuff, which obviously is always weighing on my mind. And it hits a bit more close to home when it's happening there and then, and the episodes are airing and people are reacting to it and sending comments that aren't always necessarily nice and stuff like that. But that being said, like, I'm so glad that I have the support of these girls, and Teresa is she's just a lovely person. She's just
that's so lovely. That's so lovely to hear, because you're sisters now. You can't get rid of each other. This is it.
Like gonorrhea. I'm super gonorrhea. You will never get rid of me, Dan.
You have mutated into black gonorrhea. Like this is.
That's what my outfit was with the wet lettuce. It was a mutation of a fruit.
That was a lime green sickness boogie color.
It was like what you'd see in a bowl after a good night out.
Yeah, literally. Well, what other things do you want to take away from like the competition or Drag Race as a whole? Because I'm sure it's been like a whirlwind of an experience.
It's been a whirlwind, and I will say that as hard as it is, I want people to understand that it is hard to watch yourself go through these things, because in everyday life, if I get in a stressful situation, the first thing I do, like I walked out of Untucked, because my first reaction is to go, okay, let me deal with this, take myself out of the situation and blah, blah, blah. But watching it back, as hard as it was to go through it and hard as it was to watch, I am grateful that I was able to have a roller coaster ride, because that's kind of what Drag Race is about, You have peaks, you have flows, you have moments where you completely humiliate and embarrass yourself and cry in front of the judges, and as much as you don't want that to happen, it's a part of the Drag Race experience. And
absolutely,
8 months later or whatever it is, it's almost easier now to process and to understand that, like, even with people's reactions and how they feel about how things have gone, I'm still glad that I had that road
at that moment.
It's the Drag Race journey. It's what
exactly. Versatile queen.
Absolutely, please, and put that down on paper. I want everyone to know that.
Brilliant. Well, finally, we just need a yearbook quote from you, and it can be anything, absolutely anything.
All right. Why is she? You ain't my mother.
Yes, I am.
I would love you to be my mother, Yshee.
You don't need this. I'll be the fun auntie, so we can go out and get drunk.
Absolutely, and I know you've got them childbearing hips as well, Yshee.
Cheeky. Oh, I'm going to have you. Right. Well, thank you so much, Scarlett. It's been so lovely to talk to you. I'm so proud of everything that you've done, and I can't wait to come and see you.
All right, I'm coming over.
All right, then. We'll plan it. I'll drop you a message. Take care, lovely. And have a fabulous time.
Send you all the love. Thank you. Bye-bye, darling.
I'm absolutely seething. I've just done that whole video without lashes. I'm never getting on the race. It's game over. I'm cancelled. No lashes. Wow. High drag. For fuck's sake.